Okay, everybody, once again, it's the Parker on the Man page, yournews.com. Mark Wilson with your webcam, your official countdown to Christmas webcam. And need to look again. 9 days, this being the 16th, 9 days away from Christmas 2009, and welcome to it. I'm sure you're all finished with your shopping. No, you're not. Neither am I. We'll get it done eventually. 9 days. Anyhow, check out the piece today on a cold, chilly day in Metro Detroit. 20 years ago, 1989, a lot of stuff went on in sports. I won't get into it now because I write about this and I want you to read it. But I'll give you a couple of highlights. The Earthquake World Series, the Pete Rose stuff, Michigan winning the basketball national championship, Pistons winning the NBA title. Something else happened 20 years ago, and it's funny about the nines. There's a lot of anniversaries with the nines, 69, 59, 89, 79, then the 25s, like the quarters years. There's a lot of anniversary dates coinciding with nines when it comes to sports. And one that has gotten past us the last, I would say the last couple because it's 20 years ago now, but the last time Bo Schembechler coached football, he walked away from the game 20 years ago. And it ended with the January 1st, 1990 Rose Bowl against USC, the rematch with him and his former pupil, Larry Smith at Southern Cal. Bo had won the previous year, and then his last game would be January 1, 1990, as I mentioned, and this would be it, 20 years and out for Bo, or at least 20 years since that time, 40 years since he's been hired at Michigan. He was hired back in 69 after Bump Elliott finished in 68. So again, there's more significance to the nines. It just seems like 20 years has rolled right along here, and 3 years since Bo passed away. Time marches on. So I just didn't want to let it get past that it was 20 years ago that Bo Schembechler said bye-bye. The Michigan Man. Kind of the whole piece is structured around some of the Schembechler, the Michigan Man stuff, the Bill Frieder, Steve Fisher thing when Bo was the AD at Michigan. A couple of stories in there about Bo. Knew Bo very well. Talked to him many, many times over the course of 2 decades as a football coach at Michigan. Obviously more on the tail end. I didn't know him well in the early part since I was about 10, but towards the end, of course, and through the late 70s and 80s. And then, of course, afterwards, all the time he spent as Tiger president, and that was only a couple of years, but then the time afterwards when he had his golf outings, or he was around town, or you'd see him in Ann Arbor, or he'd be on various television shows or available for interviews. So there's a lot of things, but I just can't believe it's been 20 years since Bo walked away from football. So check that out on the Parker on the Man page. In the tweets and feeds, Butch Jones, looks like Cincinnati might be going back to the well again. The well being Mount Pleasant, Michigan, Central Michigan. Butch Jones looks like he's the next head coach at Cincinnati, replacing Brian Kelly, who went from Central Michigan to Cincinnati. Of course, Kelly now at Notre Dame. And that would mean replacing Jeff Quinn, who used to be at Central Michigan, who's now the interim coach at Cincinnati. So there's a little pipeline, an I-75 pipeline from Michigan down to Ohio, Southern Ohio. And Butch Jones might be making that trek once again. So check that out. There are sources that say that Butch Jones will be the next head coach at Cincinnati. Could be introduced as early as today, tomorrow, certainly the next couple of days. The Big Ten expansion, they supposedly made news. They put out a press release saying that now the Big Ten is going to look once again at expansion. You know what? They are so stuck back in, speaking of 2 decades ago, I mean, this is a 1985 business model here. When Penn State joined the conference about 20 years ago, we thought we'd get the 12th team at some point in, reasonable amount of time. And Notre Dame said no in 1999, another 10 years ago. And they really haven't investigated much since. Barry Alvarez, the Wisconsin AD, has kind of made a push for this. Michigan State President Luanna Simon is the president the chairperson of the Council of Presidents and Chancellors of Universities in the Big Ten, so she's going to be very much involved. Jim Delaney, the commissioner, they finally want to get this ball rolling here to find a 12th team so they can split into 2 divisions and have a conference championship game and not be left out the final 3 weeks of the football season like these other conferences all have their things, SEC and whatnot, the Big 12, and a lot of attention, money, obviously money, follow the money, people. And that's what the Big Ten is doing here. And I won't give it away. You got to read it. But there's one school in particular I think would be perfect for the Big Ten. And it's not Notre Dame. And it's not, well, just read it. Greg Jones, first-team All-American from Michigan State. Good for GJ. Linebacker, Michigan State. With all the problems and troubles, the suspensions, the criminal activity up in East Lansing, he's the one guy that's Flowing through the radar, getting ready for the bowl game, the Alamo Bowl against Texas Tech, and Greg Jones, first-team All-American. And that I can't remember the last time a Spartan was that. And give it up to the two Michigan guys, too, Brandon Graham and Zoltan Mesko, who made the second-team All-American list. So Rich Rodriguez had a bad year, but had a couple of guys do pretty well. Kevin Smith's injury for the Lions. He's going to have surgery. He's done for the year, IR. Now the Lions have to worry about whether he can even return in 2010. Might they have to go to the draft to look for a running back? Not the thing they needed, because they need everything else under the sun. Didn't really want to deal with running backs right now, but Aaron Brown and Maurice Morris will get the call in the last 3 games here, see what they have going, see what they can do. Maybe Aaron Brown, young guy, rookie running back, maybe he's got something. And the Pistons lost to Houston. In Houston at the Toyota Center, the return of T-Mac. I wrote about Tracy McGrady just a couple of weeks ago and his issues and problems with Rick Edelman, the coach of Houston. He hit a 3-pointer. There's only 3 points in his return. First game of the season for Tracy McGrady, the highest paid player in the NBA this year, who has not played since last February. So McGrady was back, and the Pistons still lost to the Houston Rockets despite Yao Ming still being out and Trevor Ariza not playing for the Rockets last night. And a little shout out to Better Off Ted on ABC. Just watched it, DVR'd it. Portia de Rossi, Jay Harrington, Viridian Dynamics. What a great show. If you haven't seen Better Off Ted on ABC's Tuesday nights, they brought the show back. They were going to cancel it, but I think it's one of the, with Californication, it may be two of the top comedies, half-hour comedies on TV. So check it all out there. The Bo piece, kind of a tribute, a retrospective to Bo Schembechler, 20 years since he said bye-bye to Michigan, bye-bye to Michigan football. Butch Jones going to Cincinnati, the Big Ten expansion stuff. Man, are they behind. Greg Jones, first-team All-American, Michigan State. Kevin Smith's injury. Pistons lost to the Rockets. And Better Off Ted. There you go. It's all on the Parker and the Man page, your official countdown to Christmas station, just 9 days away. 9 days, right here on yournews.com.